So, hello beautiful people out there. I am Rekha and we are learning English together. So, today my topic is how reading can be helpful in speaking English. So, as we know that there are 4 skills of learning English. They are LSRW: listening, speaking, reading and writing. We know it very well that speaking is the most important skill for speaking English. Speaking comes from speaking. So speaking is the most important skills, but other skills are also important. You cannot ignore other skills too, because they always helps you in learning English. So today we are going to discuss about reading skill. This is skill number 3, reading. How reading can be helpful in speaking English. So first, let me tell you that how reading can be helpful in, when you read something, how it is going to be helpful to you. First thing is that, reading, it gives us lots of information. We get to know lots of things. We get, we increase our knowledge, and at the same time, reading also, it gives us a kind of mental peace, which you cannot find in other things. Like whatever you do, you watch something and you write something, but the reading is the most important thing, which gives you kind of soothing effect to your mind. Because when you read something, you are actually concentrating your whole mind into it. And when you do something with concentration and with devotions, it brings a new kind of energy within you. So reading, it really helps you to get to know you in a better way. So first, what does it do? You get a lot of information about something, you gather a lot of knowledge about something. At the same time, what it does, that it develops our imaginative power a lot. When we read, actually we imagine the whole thing, going on in front of our eyes. So it increases our imaginative power, and it also increases our reasonable thinking too, or you can call it a logical thinking too. Like, it gives us understanding of what is right and what is wrong, and lots of benefit you get when you read something. You get to know about grammar, like you come to know about the different uses of words, and then phrases, idioms, sentences, so many things you get to know about, grammar. And you get an idea that how a sentence is constructed if you pay your whole attention to a sentence. It's really very unfortunate that, most of the new generation, those who belong to new generation, they don't want to get themselves involved in reading things, They think it is a hogwash, it's stereotype things, outdated things. Just to have a book and read, people don't get time to read and all. But the thing is that if you inculcate this habit of reading from the beginning of your life, when you are a student, it gives a lots of benefit that you don't find in your digital things, Since the approaches of digital thing has brought so many things, close to you. So with the approaching and the, access to these electronic things, it's good that we have got so much things in our life, and we need to, but the thing is that, if you spend too much time in this electronic things, it also affects your mind too in some way or other. So that is the thing, is that parents should inculcate this habit, to giving them the importance of, telling them the importance of reading. The parents should encourage their child to learn to read books more and more. They should give, suppose how they can encourage their what to read books by. Sometimes they should give them, books as a or gift. So it would, they should tell them the value of reading books. They also should encourage them that, reading gives a lots of, good things. They should tell the right things for reading books and all. So it's very unfortunate. The other day I went to a book fair, and I was very sad to see that very less students, very few students were there who were interested in buying books and all. They actually don't want to buy books and all. Rather, they want to spend their money on other things, So it's not good actually. The thing is that you should inculcate this habit, and it also helps you a lot in understanding things. It also helps you a lot, speaking English too. Because when you get to know about the sentence structure, when you get to know about the words, the phrases, and the sentences, you come to know lots of things about the grammar too. So it's a kind of, you can call it a functional grammar, where you get to know about all these a sentence, how it is put in order, what comes first the subject comes, then verbs come, then object or complement comes, what the other parts of the speech works in a sentence. That too you can get to know, when you read books. So there are various ways of reading books. So today I'm going to discuss these things, that how can you read in a right manner. Because it's not enough for you to buy hordes of books and then you don't know how to read it, and you get confused. And after getting confused, what you do, that is you leave it for another day, and then it just becomes, another book in the world of the books. You don't get, take it out from there to read and all. So today I'm gonna tell you that what are the right way to, read books, and how you can tell your small children that they should inculcate this type of habit to speak. So the first thing which I would suggest you, that when you go for reading something and you are a beginner, you want to increase your, this habit of reading, you want to develop this habit of reading. So what you should do, that first you go for simple books. Choose some simple books which are really interesting. If you choose some simple books for reading, it will, it will it will develop a kind of interest, for you to read. And if you just select some complex, books for you, some difficult books for you, what would happen, that you will start reading, and after reading it, you get it stuck in some words or phrases which you don't know exactly. So what would you do, that many often you go and consult a dictionary, or digital dictionary, whatever you have. So every now and then if you do it, you lose your interest in that particular thing. So I would suggest you that if you start reading, if you're really a beginner and if you want to read something, go for some small and simple things, simple, and those you can start reading with some story books of children. That would be really good for you, and slowly, gradually, you will develop a kind of interest for reading books. And at the beginning, if you choose the difficult ones, you will lose your interest very soon. So that is why I would always suggest you to go for some simple books which really gives you a kind of entertainment. At the same time, you feel happy to read them. If you are able to read each and every sentences and you get to know their meaning clearly, you don't need any other things to know the meaning. It's okay. Most often it happens that when you are reading something and you come across with some difficult words, without knowing its meaning, you skip it and you just go for another things. You just keep on reading. So if you do it, you lose your interest very soon. So that is why I would suggest you just go for simple books. Sometimes, teachers suggest their student to read newspaper. But actually what happens, the language of newspaper and the common language of day-to-day speaking is quite different, Reading newspaper, it's really good, but actually if you are a beginner, if you have starting up your reading things, you cannot get benefited by reading newspaper, because newspaper has some typical type of language which is good for your knowledge. If you come across with some words which is really difficult for you to understand, you go and consult a dictionary. It's okay, you get to know the meaning, but you cannot use those words in your day-to-day life. Since you are on the path of learning English, speaking English. So you need to learn only those words and phrases which are used in day-to-day life. So newspaper is not going to help you in any way. It's okay that if you want to increase your knowledge, if you want to know more about words and phrases, it's okay, but not for the beginners. Okay, so one more thing which I would like to suggest you, that most of the beginners, what they do, that they just develop this misconception in their mind that the more they read the books, the better their English becomes. It's good, it's okay, but the thing is that read books not just for reading. Just for reading, if you are reading books, it's not going to give you so much advantages. Read books just to grasp the things, the ideas, the sentences, the structure, the phrases, the idioms. You get to know everything about the book. You are reading books just to get the information, or the information which it carries. Okay, so if you read not just for reading purpose, then it's okay. So if you're reading just for reading purpose, it's not going to get you any kind of benefit or advantages. So that is why read the books just to get an idea, just to know about the sentence structure, just to know about whatever has been said in that book, whatever has been given in that book. So I'm just giving you an example of Swami Vivekananda. What he used to do, that he used to take one book daily from the library, and he used to return it to the next day. So librarian, he just got irritated. The librarian got irritated, and he called that man who used to give the book to Swami Vivekananda. So he said that, Swamiji, what do you do? Every day you take one book and you return it to next day. What do? Don't you read the book? So Swamiji said, tell your librarian that I read every lines of the book, and if she wants, she can have a quiz with me. I'm ready to answer all the questions from wherever, whichever page she wants to ask something, I'm ready to answer it. So it's such a confidence he has in his, reading things. So I just want to tell you the same thing, that just when you are reading, put your whole mind into it. Try to get to know what actually the book is giving information, and at the same time, you are a beginner, you need to know a lots of things about the book, in the book. So just go for words, each and every word you should know about the book which you have taken. If you are not getting the right word at the right time, don't skip that word. Instead, do one thing. Instead, do one thing, that take a, just consult some particular word if you come across immediately, So don't rush for so many books altogether. Just read a book at a time and get to know more about the books, and then you will slowly develop this, habit of reading. So in the starting, if you read a lot of books together, just to read for this purpose, that more reading, more knowledge, so you are going to lose your interest very soon. So if you want to just increase your interest, if you want to continue with reading things, you need to read a book at a time. Read it, finish it, then go for another book. Now, time for reading. Most people say that morning time is most preferable for reading books. It's okay that, morning time is really very good for everything. We know it very well. That in the morning, and our mind is very fresh, and we get a very good ambience, and at the same time, we are ready to grasp everything. Morning time is really good for you, but if you get time to read in the morning, then it's okay. But if you don't get time to read in the morning, so what would you do? You can read whenever you get time, at your leisure time, at your leisure time. When you are traveling, when you are going somewhere, you are alone, you are sitting, you are waiting for, your turn to come, you are in doctor's chambers, take a book, pocket book, small book with you and read it. Okay, so people say that when you read book, you should uh, put your whole concentration into it. You should not be disturbed by any other outer appearance. But I would suggest you that no, this is not right. You cannot switch off your phone because you might get some important call, and you cannot tell other people to keep quiet. So just try to find a place where you can sit quietly and read a book. But I just think one thing, I feel that if you have developed this kind of interest in reading books, no outer things would disturb you. If you make your mind to read books, and if you are just involve yourself in reading things, no outer things are going to disturb you. Just keep this thing in mind. Now, one more thing I would say, that I have felt this thing, so that is why I'm telling you that if you are interested in reading things, do one thing. You can initially, I'm telling you this thing, you are for initially, not for all the time. You can do it if you're a person who are doing it, for the first time. You want to develop this habit of reading. You are too much getting disturbed or distracted by other things. So you can do one thing. You can take a pencil or pen in your hand. The pencil is the better, option. So take a pencil in your hand and try to read each and every lines, putting your finger inside it, marking with the pencil. So it's not necessary to mark with a pencil, but put your pencil, under the line which you are reading, in every lines. You will find that when you do this thing, it becomes very easy to grasp those things, it just goes directly in your head without putting much effort, So initially you do it, and then you will find that eventually it has become a kind of habit, for reading books. Now, when you are reading something and you come across a word or idiom or phrases which you don't know, what happens that most often what we do, that we are in the habit of procrastination. So we procrastinate. So we are in the habit of procrastination. We procrastinate. We leave it for some next time, and we skip that particular word. We go ahead. So what happens that two things you are doing at the same time. First thing, that whatever you are reading, you are not clearly getting the idea. It's okay that you are getting an idea that, yeah, this word might carry this meaning, but actually you are not getting the right meaning. So you are not getting benefited by the meaning of the word. And if you don't know the exact meaning of the word, it also does not help you, to develop your vocabulary. This is, which is the most important thing, for you to learn. So that is why whenever you come across with such words and phrases, immediately what you need to do, just go and consult a dictionary. If you have a digital dictionary, you can go for it. But don't skip that word. Immediately you need to see that word. If immediately you should do it. Just go for it. Find out the meaning immediately. Just don't put it off for another time. And one more thing I would suggest you, that make a separate notebook. Write down all the meanings of the words over there, all the words and all the phrases and idioms. It would increase your vocabulary, and at the same time you will get to know in which context they have been used. So it would also help you to to read in a better way. So now one more thing which is coming into my mind, that is, you can do one more thing, that initially if you are developing this idea, you can read out aloud. Okay, so take some small children's book, read them aloud, and when you read aloud, you will think it's a kind of nonsense thing which ma'am is telling us. But the thing is that, it's really very good thing. It's really very beneficial thing for you, because when you are reading aloud two things are happening together. First, you are able to grasp the whole thing with your two sense organ, like you are pronouncing the word, you know, in a right way. And second thing, that you are able to listen to those things, you know, the words or the sentences which you are reading in a nice way. And it just, you can able to understand, you can able to comprehend the whole thing, you know, in a nice way, and in a better way. And it will help you to learn you know, spoken English too. So these were the few things which I had in my mind. I thought that I should need to discuss these things with you, and you yourself are aware of all these things, you know. So I don't think that people, those who are willing to speak English, they adopt lots of ideas and lots of things altogether in their life. So thank you so much for watching my video. Please keep on watching my video and give comment, read book.